Hi again, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of Let's Twist Again, a monthly deep dive into the short but crazy life of the Indiana Twisters. I'm your host, Ken Tomash. I was the radio broadcaster for the Twisters during their 2 years in the Continental Indoor Soccer League in 1996 and 1997, and the team's media relations director that second year. Every month, we're joined by somebody who lived through that crazy time for a nostalgic look at what indoor soccer was like back in the day and what the players, coaches, and administrators have been doing for the last 30 years. Our guest today was the first Twister to score 4 goals in a game, a record that almost lasted for the team's entire existence. He was also the first to win a league honor. He's now a successful youth soccer coach in Southern California, and that is where we find him today. He is Oswaldo Monroy. Oswaldo, ¿cómo estás, amigo?
Muy bien, Ken. Thank you very much for the invitation. Happy to be here with you and try to get back the memories, beautiful memories in Indianapolis Twisters.
No doubt. Well, no podemos realizar toda esta entrevista en español porque no lo hablo muy bien. We can't do this entire interview in Spanish as much as I would like to because my Spanish is not great. But there will be chances in this podcast where we'll have a chance to maybe go bilingual. The reason I say that is because you grew up in Mexico City. Do you remember your first exposure to the game and maybe when you first realized, hey, I've got some skills. Maybe I'm a little bit better than the other kids?
Yeah. I remember the first time, I'm from Mexico City. So the culture, soccer is part of your blood, right? It's in your blood. And when I say that, is because your dad plays soccer, your cousin plays soccer, everybody plays soccer. So my first exposure was going to see my dad playing every weekend. And then I have also a cousin that played professional soccer in Mexico for first division team. So we were to watching in the stadiums. So my passion for the game is when they start moving forward to start getting that little energy to keep moving in that direction. And with the support of my family, well, we start getting into the soccer.
So help us understand, what options did a young person have in Mexico at that time if they aspire to play at a high level? Does that path look different than it does here in the States, where you can, play club soccer and play travel soccer, and maybe it's college, maybe it's not, maybe it's you go pro as a teenager? What were your options and what path did you take?
Yeah, I believe in these times they're a little different. Now, what I saw in my perspective is a lot of business. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of business going on. And when I was in Mexico, my pathway was I went to play in a team at 5 years old, right? But it's that every Sunday leave with the recreational and play. But from there, my dad see my intentions to keep moving forward, and I went to the school in for the first division team because they have schools. Are you still there, Ken? Hello.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just letting you talk. You're
okay,
good.
Because I feel we're just talking
about myself. You're fine.
So then I started moving to the schools, and then I went to Atlante, right? With Atlante, and that time was in first division. Then was a pathway under the Atlante. So you go to the 4th team, the 3rd team, 2nd team, until you go to the first division team. So that's the way to myself start getting to the pro level. Of course, that's in the first team. Also, there are more division, like 2nd division, 3rd division, pro level, and that's the way they work over there. Over here in the States now, I believe is kind of sad because sometimes it's the system that you need to pay to play. At least you are a really and good talented player that play for a MLS team like LA Galaxy or LFC. Then they have also their structure and they don't charge you. But otherwise, is if you want to kind of succeed, you need to kind of start playing club and you need to pay. So I believe that's one of the big difference between the two countries.
Now we see you here. That's you right smack in the front, right?
Yes, I'm like right in the middle on there with the ball. Right. We are now in that stadium called Estadio Azulgrana and then Estadio Azul. And now is when America is playing. Now is Estadio Azul Crema.
So did the first team in Atlante play in Estadio Azteca, right?
Yes. Was in that time when I was playing in that team, was first belonged to the like a Kaiser. Let's say Kaiser here is the Seguro Social, right? Over in Mexico is a Seguro Social.
The government, the DDF government.
owns the Atlante. Even they call Atlante IMSS, Instituto Mexicano del Seguro Social. And then after that, Garcis, that is what we have over here in the chest,
Mhm.
it own the Atlante. So it's when more changes happen in that transition, and then we move to the Estadio Azul, Azulgrana in that time, but also we will play a little bit in the Azteca.
Was there anybody else that whose name we would recognize who you played with at this time?
Yes. Well, I don't know now. People in my age, of course, they know,
Right.
but right now, for nobody is going to hear. Like the guy, he's right in top of me. He working in the media,
Uh-huh. Oh,
uh,
yeah.
Univision. That is Felix Fernandez. He's a goalkeeper. He played for the national team. Then will be in my right hand side. The second one is Professor Guadalupe Cruz. He also keep going with the head coach in first division. In the other side, my left hand side, in the top is Enrique Echeverria. He coached the national teams, the sub-17, I believe so. On the bottom, also the one in the corner in my left side, Jaime Abarca. He played for America, good teams. I mean, if people keep moving forward in his own careers, but it was really interesting.
Wasn't Ricardo Volpe somewhere involved in Atlante at that time, the future El Tri coach?
Yes, in that actually when Garcis take over, then La Volpe was in charge of the first team, and even was when the team go down to second division. So I was in the first team, second team, going up and down, and I have the opportunity to know a little bit of La Volpe, not too much, but is kind of a special character, La Volpe.
So you had before you came to the States, which we'll get to in a bit, you had a good long decade-long career in Mexico. Take us through your career arc after Atlante.
Yes, so after Atlante, what happened with Garcis? He start getting players. He has a bunch of players, right? So every season, when the season is over, all the players need to show up because they belong to the Atlante. So let's say, to be honest with you, 80 players, right, show up. So from that 80 players, say, okay, who's going to stay? I need you to try out once again, and this and that. So a bunch, we were like, okay, you are not in plan, so you need to look for a team. But we still belong to Atlante. So then I started looking for a team, and then when I went to Tlaxcala, that was a second division team. That is like maybe 2 hours away from Mexico. That's a Tlaxcala team.
That's it.
And then
And there
from
you are in the front. By this point, you've got the beard and the mustache
I have
going.
the beard and the mustache. And then from there, from Tlaxcala, I play a year. Was funny because that's something that I'm going to mention in my crazy story, but I don't want to give you a heads up.
Right.
But when we were in Tlaxcala, then the next team was in Veracruz, called a really nice town, Papantla. It's hard to pronounce, but was a Papantla, Veracruz, and same thing with Mustache. I was the captain in that team. Really cute town. It was a really cute town over there. Papantla, I don't know, you hear, is the Voladores de Papantla. I don't know, you're not familiar with that.
No.
When the people, it's a big pose, and the people hang up all the way to the top and start going down and flying and flying. So Voladores is flying, and the people is hanging from the feet, and it's flying all the way down, all the way down. So that Voladores, that tradition, they are from that town. So the funny part of that, being in that team, is like I said, the stadium was small, as you can see.
Right.
They need painted, and then the Voladores come with us every time we go to start the game, and singing and everything. And I remember that from Papantla. Then from there, I moved to Acapulco. I moved to play to Acapulco to one. There were two teams. The first one was Guerreros, and I was not able to find anything from Guerreros. And then the picture that we have over there was for Delfines. So Delfines de Acapulco, that team was. We have the first division and then the second division. What's the second division? Whatever was the champion of that league, they moved to the first division. So the competition, the level of competition, the speed of play, the demanding was really intense, really high, really good level. A bunch of players over there also, they play first division. We were playing in that time against Tijuana, Cancun. I mean, all over the country. So it was a really nice experience. Really hot in Acapulco. Practicing, even they forced us to practice 2 3 times a day sometimes, because Acapulco is a party place.
Oh, right.
And
Keep you out of trouble? They were trying to keep you out of trouble?
to keep you away from trouble, we were practicing sometimes 7 in the morning to go to the beach and run. And we were like, why 7 in the morning? And then in the afternoon too, like, oh my goodness. So again, it was another great experience play for the Delfines.
Were you always a forward? Were you always a goal scorer?
No, actually, forward. I play forward only for Indianapolis. Always my career was a midfielder. I always play as a midfielder. In this picture, and these Delfines too, we are in Acapulco, and someone that is maybe people from my age. In my right hand side with the ball is Raúl Servín. He
Right.
played for Pumas, and he played in the World Cup for Mexico in the 86 World Cup in Mexico. And after the World Cup, he came to play for Delfines. The other two guys, 3 4 guys over there, they were playing for Pachuca. When the season before, they won the championship to move to first division. And these guys, they were, like I tell you, it's politics in soccer. It's a lot of politics. So those guys, they were not in plans. So I say, you guys, you got not in plans. Even you earned your spot. Even the guy, he's in the left hand side of me, Padilla. He was the one to took the PK to Pachuca move on to first division. And
Uh-huh.
not even like that, they stay in the team. So they come to Acapulco, and we have a really solid team.
So you were like 18 when Mexico hosted the World Cup in '86. How did that change the soccer culture of Mexico hosting a World Cup? That was the World Cup that America hoped that it would get. It didn't happen. You guys got it when Colombia pulled out. How did that change things in the landscape in Mexico?
Well, reality, soccer is already a main thing to do in Mexico, right? So now you have the World Cup. You can imagine, wherever you turn, you see World Cup. You see World Cup. You see people with jerseys. You see people playing in the streets. So what's just to even reinforce the love for the game for everybody. Was a party time for everyone. Was a great times. So just again, was a reinforcement of the culture that we have soccer in our blood as a Mexicans.
Now, the setup in Mexico at that time, your first division, second division, or whatever, very different from Liga MX today. How different was the whole professionalism and everything else? You mentioned the fact there's politics, and there's always been politics in the game of football, but how different was that setup to what we expect Liga MX to be, this big juggernaut today that's super hugely popular?
Yes, in that time, like I say, was the lower professional level was third division, right? And maybe there were like 4 brackets. That's it. Then was a second division B and a second division A and the first division. That was it, right? Now in days when I went to Mexico, is the third division. They have like, I don't know, like 25, 30 brackets. So it's a lot of teams. Now, even in days in Mexico, I hear people that they pay to play professional, because now they play professional, they need to pay to play. So again, it's just, unfortunately, it's a lot of business. It's a lot of politics going on. In my time, there were a lot of politics, right? And you see people coming that they don't belong to the team, but they know here or they know these people, and then they were already practicing with us, and it's like, who is this guy? I mean, stuff like that. That always you see. So that's the difference. And here in America is now kind of, I don't know, you are familiar with the youth soccer
Mhm.
structure, but it's all over the place. It's over here in California. We have 2 youth leagues. The more popular in the called Soccer League, and the other one is Soccer League. But then we have MLS Next, NLP, ACNL. It's like a bunch of letters when the pattern is so spread it up. So it's not actually a easy structure to follow, so we can get the best players in one area. It's really difficult.
Wow. We're already getting plenty of love for you here in the stream, people putting in comments. And if you have questions or comments, keep them coming. We'll keep putting them here up on the screen. And if you have questions, we'll do our best to answer them then. Ozzy, you mentioned watching your dad play when you were a kid. What kind of influence did he have on you as a man and as a player?
Uh, my dad is my hero, right? Not only for the soccer, because of him, I know soccer. It's because the way he teach me how to live. Unfortunately, my dad passed away a month ago, and it's still with me. Still with me because he always tried to do his best, and that's what I try to do all the time. I try to do my best, always keeping my head up, giving myself to other ones, be on service. And now that I'm in charge of the youth soccer club, that's what I try to do. When you run a soccer club, sometimes it's difficult to make everybody happy, and you need to understand that. Otherwise, is no way to live. But if you always are happy with what you're doing and always be honest and professional, I mean, you always keep your head high. So my dad has been my inspiration all over the place. We have a program in my PSO youth club that we call the best, and we offer this certificate to the player who exceed, but not always in the soccer field. Oh, at school,
Here's one of those.
yeah, it's one of these one. At school, be an excellence, help the community. So go beyond to play just soccer. So we try to incentive the kids. Then is a lot of things that we can do in order to help them to develop a better human being.
Now, indoor soccer, which obviously is why we're here to talk about, is also popular in Mexico, but it's called Fútbol Rápido, maybe slightly different. You had the opportunity to be on one of the better indoor teams. Shuma is traditionally one of the better teams. Tell us who we're looking at in this picture here.
Well, in this one, Shuma, someone that is familiar, and actually, the funny part about the football rápido in Mexico is because it was a new discipline to play soccer. We know only the outdoor, the football soccer outside, 11 versus 11, and also we know the football sala or football playa or the beach soccer, but never the football rápido, indoor soccer. So that was a new discipline. So it started like brand new for everyone. So all the players, they were playing outdoor. Even over there in some of the guys, they play professional first division in Puebla, in Atlante, in America. But this picture doesn't show later on was Shuma, that with the team that we have. I'm gonna mention some players that because you're familiar with these guys. I believe so. Cicinho, Genoni Martinez,
Absolutely.
Octavio Pérez, Rodolfo de las Fuentes, Samuel Jerónimo. So all those guys, we were playing in the same team. We were playing in Shuma. So you can imagine that the kind of arsenal that we have in that team. So, and I maybe skip another ones, but every Juan de la O.
Great
Juan de
keeper.
was one of the best keeper in the league, you know, for several years. So all those guys we were playing together, and was not easy task for us be kind of the leaders in that time because the other teams also they have a great teams
Right.
like one team called Miave that was Marco Coria, Chiquis Perez, Cárdenas, so all the guys from La Raza.
Right.
I mean, we were over there in that league playing, and was like I say, was a brand new discipline, and was really fun. So myself, I was between outdoor playing professional, and then when the season is over, I was jumping into the football rapido, and I see how the discipline start growing in Mexico, right? Until we get professional.
And a lot of those guys, in that team and in that league made up the backbone of the CISL. They were a lot of those guys played against the Twisters, and for many years, Hanoni Martinez played forever. He was a terrific player everywhere he went. So, how did you wind up from there in the United States, first off, and ended up playing for this team in Indianapolis, this expansion kind of thrown together team, pretty almost last minute, called the Twisters?
Well, for me, long story short, in the year before, Indianapolis Twisters in Mexico was a new team in
The
Mexico City
Toros, right?
called Toros Mexico.
Right.
But for that time, I have ACL. I have a problem in my knee that was not able to play. So I was like kind of, imagine, really sad because I know all the players that play for Toros, they play in my team in Mexico. So it was like the next step. But for my surgery, I was not able to play. So in Toros Mexico was Jorge Espinosa, that is the coach.
Right.
So my dad, rest in peace, and he's in heaven. He was kind of the not the assistant, but the people to be in charge with the players, to help with the uniforms, all that kind of stuff. So they created a really good relationship. So I was in touch with Jorge Espinosa for a long time. Actually, for all the season, he was coming to our house to eat. He loved frijoles sin sal, no sal, frijoles no sal, alaleros, all that kind of stuff. So we create a good relationship. So during that time, then I had my surgery done. I started working really hard, going to the pool every day, gym, everything, and then hoping for Toros next season. So my surprise was no more Toros, right?
Exactly.
This man, no more Toros. So I hear Jorge is taking Indianapolis Twisters. So I reach out to him and say, Profe, please, this is Monroy. They call me Monroy. And I want to see if you can give me an opportunity to go and play for you in Indianapolis. I know you don't know me, but now I'm back. And he goes like, that's okay. You want to come over? Come over. You live with me. And then you practice. I show up to Indianapolis 2 months before everybody else,
Oh,
right?
wow.
So I went to live with him, and I practice every day, and I spend a good time with George. I know him really well. He's a great human being. Has his own style to work with the teams. For some of the players was really strict. For some of not. I mean, what? It's a nice part of my life. Also live with Coach George. So that's the way that end up in the Twisters.
Okay. Now, you mentioned Jorge, and that first training camp, you were there early, but then a lot of guys started to show up. What was that first training camp like? Guys not knowing each other. You had some guys who did know each other, guys trying to get to know each other. What was it like in that very first training camp as an expansion team?
It's was really fun, right? Because we were there for the same reason, to try to because there was a couple players try out still, and some players already coming with contract. Like I have players coming from Mexico, Reza,
Mhm.
Bolela, Rojano, Alejandro Moreno, Cebollas, right? So they were those guys that were already coming 2 months after me, plus the guys in town like Joe Crawford.
Mhm.
I don't want to skip nobody else, but Matt
No.
Blackburn, people that was already in town, beside people that was coming over from USA from other team, like my big friend Rich Ryerson that was coming. So it was a little mix and match, everything there, but we are everybody with the same mission to try to make the team and try to make the best of Twisters or Indianapolis, because was a new team. We were expecting like people all happy, and because it was a new thing for Indianapolis. So
Mhm.
it was a really nice experience, and I have the opportunity to meet a lot of guys from different countries. So it was really good.
You kind of alluded to this, but for people who don't know, can you explain Jorge Espinosa's approach as a coach, his philosophy on physical fitness, wellness, preparation, and diet? And I see you laughing already because I know anybody who knows. But for the people who don't know, what was that like?
Well, like you hear before, I have a couple pre-seasons under my belt when I went to Indianapolis, right? Playing
Right.
pro first division, second division teams, pro outdoor. We do pre-season, we go to the mountains, we run, everything. But whoa, no, not even close with Jorge in terms like he's controlling what you do, he's controlling in terms of the physicality, the warm up, the stuff. I mean, we practice 2 times during the day sometimes. Then he always believe in the diet, and I believe that
Mhm.
also the diet is really important. He always after practice he say, okay, because we work to eat together. He said, what do you guys want, proteins or carbohydrates? So we were like, everybody know, big guys like Mateco Rich, like we were like proteins and everything. And he said, because we can have both. And we were like kind of, okay, maybe in the morning proteins and later carbohydrates. So we go to, I don't remember the name of the cafeteria, like what's a cafeteria to
Right. I
go
remember that.
yourself. But we were like cheating, right? People was cheating, like, okay, I'm gonna get this one. And at the end of the line was all was was Jorge like this, and he goes, no, no, you can get this, you can get this, you can get this, you can get this, and everybody was at the end with the plate all sad to eat and everything. So it's really intense. I believe was the best fit of my life.
Hmm.
Jorge, even like I tell you before, I get there 2 months before, and when my teammates from Mexico came, that I know in like forever, they came and they went to the arena where we were practicing. I was practicing and stuff, and I see the guys. Even I say hello and everything, and they look at me like, who is this guy?" So when I talk to them, I say, "What's up, Cebollas?" They said, "Really, Monroy? Are you okay? Are you sick?" I say, "No, I have been working out and living with Jorge." So I mean, was extremely. I hear Rich Ryerson saying that we can run the marathon and maybe go in the Olympics and beat anyone in that time. Was really really tough.
Yeah, being fit was Jorge's thing. So the season comes. You didn't play in the first two games. Then you got to go in the third game against Monterey. Here you are going head to head, literally with the aforementioned Hanoni Martinez of Monterey, great player. Then another close one against Sacramento. Another loss though. Those were both close games. The team was competitive, but you just couldn't get those results. What was the attitude during that 0-4 stretch to start the season?
Of course, the feeling was not the best because we were giving everything. I believe the work ethic of that team to hustle, to run, because it's the main thing that you must do in that team to play with Jorge. You need to hustle. And even in my position, I was playing forward. We have three forwards, so the rotation was like fast, and he's not jogging. He's not allowed to jogging.
No.
Was full speed all the time and crash against the enemy. And I mean, there were times and there were 2 minutes, and we were like switching. And the other one, you hear the bench like ready to go and ready to go, ready to go. So having not the results at the beginning was kind of frustrating because we were really close. And for one or another team, we weren't able just to finish the task. And again, was kind of the like sad situation, but we know that we were doing what was required to make it happen. So we don't stop. I mean, we don't stop and we keep moving forward.
And then Houston came to town, and you guys finally broke through in a very big way. Coming out party not only for the team but for you personally. You scored 4 goals. First person to do that in an 11-3 rout. You mentioned you were a midfielder. Was a 4 goal game ever something you ever had happen before?
Uh, for sure, in outdoor soccer, no. In indoor soccer, maybe because it's more active, more dynamic game. So maybe, but I don't remember this game. I will remember for my entire life because if you see, I'm bald, and in the picture before I was not. So that's
Right.
something that I work on myself because I come from the Synergy and I don't play for Toros. So for me is I'm gonna shave my head until I play and go back to play professional. So even I was not signing yet when the season started, and I was keep pushing and pushing and working harder. So when Coach Jorge said, "Let's go, it's your turn, go and sign," that day was the happy day of my life. I right away I get the machine, I go, and then I starting with the right foot. I scoring 1 goal in the first game, and then the third game I scored 4 goals, and I was like, oh my god, I was so happy. So it was an amazing day for me.
And as it turned out, that year, a lot of guys shaved their heads. When you got later in the season, guys, not only the firm, not only Alejandro and Mariano and folks like that, but even Monty Reeves and people like that. Everybody, George Crawford was already largely shaved head. So a lot of people followed your example.
Yeah, was funny. Maybe because we're looking for more speed. No,
So, but from that point forward, things got a little bit harder. They got a little bit harder for you personally. Goals were a little harder to come by. Wins were hard to come by. And then there was a lot of turmoil in this team. You can't talk about the 96 team without talking about, unfortunately, all the things that were happening, the growing pains of an expansion team, still a relatively new league. A new general manager came in. There was talk that the league was going to take over the team. How did you guys stay focused and stay together when things were happening? Like you would see, crowds like this at Market Square Arena, which was a great building, but it just seemed like it just wasn't happening. But you guys were trying to stay focused the whole time.
Yes, I believe the main thing, talking of course by myself and knowing more now about my teammates, my friends, we were there for the love of the game.
Mm.
You know, I believe at the end of the day is what they move you. If you are not there for the love of the game, then you are in the right profession. And also now we were talking about the really hard workout, right? And keeping the diet and everything. So if you are not happy and you are not moved for the love of the game, you say, you know, I'm leaving. This is not for me. I'm missing my taquitos and my sopes, my tamales from Mexico, and I move on. So now having this situation, hearing rumors about uh, first like not getting paid in time, and then maybe the funds were not there, and then maybe the league will take over, and we were just focusing what we need to do, like play games. And I don't remember even have a conversation as a group like what we're going to do, we stop or something. It's just for the love of the game. Of course, when the league take over, we talk about it, like what is going to happen, what is the position of the league support us big time. In that time, even they give us new jerseys or something, new uniforms and stuff.
Funny,
So,
there it is, right there.
so we move forward. We move forward, and again, I believe the main thing was the love for the game to keep us focused because we were playing, and as soon you step into the field, you forget about it. You get paid 5, 10, 20. If it's just about the game and try to win, regardless. So that, I believe that's the main thing to move myself and to move my teammates.
People don't know. I mean, this is endemic. This happens in a lot of teams. But do you remember beating Detroit at home 9-8 on a Thursday, and then getting into minivans and driving all night to Detroit and going and playing them in Detroit the next night? That was just the kind of thing that was just like, well, this is what we're doing. This is the way it is. And here you are in that game in Detroit.
Yeah, it was again, it's memories, right? Because we play, and then right after we play, is okay. We need to take a shower because we need to drive back to Detroit because we play back to back. So we go into the bands and everybody like talking and tired because again, maybe to don't exaggerate to you, maybe after the game you lose easy 6 pounds, 7 pounds with water. It's a lot of running. And then imagine going to the band and try to avoid any cramp or something. And then next day go and play. So it's just memories than recognize you how much you love what you do. And again, the hustle, the work ethic for everyone was there. You don't even feel that maybe that you are tired or not, just you keep moving forward. And was a great times, great memories. And look at me, oh my god, I'm gonna
And you
cry.
almost won that game too. It was another bald guy,
Yeah,
Drago, who scored
it
late.
was,
That was the end of that. So
was
you
really
mentioned that
nice.
the original owners. This is David Goins. May he also rest in peace. And Rodney Goins threw in the towel with 6 games to go. The league did take the team over and operated it to finish out the last season. And to you guys' credit, you guys won 2 of those last 6 games. 5 of those 6 were on the road, and you even won 2 of those games, one of them in Monterey, the last game of the season, which was a very hard place to play and to get a win in. And you scored 2 goals in that game. The Twisters finished 10-18. What happened after that? Well, we'll talk about that after the break. We'll be right back.
The Continental Indoor Soccer League. This game roars indoors with a combination of speed, finesse, and power. CISL Soccer. There is no other sport like this on earth.
Thought you guys might enjoy a little retro commercial from 1996. You are watching and listening to Let's Twist Again, a monthly live stream and podcast on the Indiana Twisters pro indoor soccer team from the late 90s. I am your host, Ken Tomash. Hey, Matt Blackburn had a great idea during the first episode. How about a 30-year Twister reunion in Las Vegas next year from 1996 to 2026? Maybe. Rich Ryerson lives in Vegas. It would be great to get everybody back together for a weekend. Drop a note in the comments wherever you're watching, or take the poll on the Twisters Facebook page. Let us know if you would be interested in maybe getting together in Las Vegas sometime in 2026 on the 30th anniversary of this team that we all loved and adored so much. It was such a big part of our lives. Our guest is Oswaldo Monroy, who scored 9 goals for the Twisters in 1996. Ozzy, what happened after that season, though? I know the Twisters signed a lot of guys, but did you want to come back? Did they want to have you back? How come you didn't come back?
To be honest with you, I don't know. I believe it's something that I need to ask Coach Jorge, right? But in my end, right? In my end, I always give my best. I always work 100%. I know soccer is about perspectives and opinions and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. Just I take it in a positive way. So I get no return. Then I move on in Mexico to keep playing professional indoor soccer. Now with experience to play for Indianapolis Twisters, I was able to play for Maruchan. That was another good team that would play in Mexico, Maruchan. In that team was a brand new team franchise in Mexico in the pro level. We have players from Honduras, from Argentina. And then the good experience about that team is because the owner of that team, from Maruchan, the Maruchan, he relied on me in my expertise to put a team together and to coach that team. So it was another great experience for me in that time to be the coach and the player for Maruchan. And I believe was one of the best teams in that team in terms of organization, because we have the structure. So Maruchan, they have money, right? So we have our own bus, dog, everything first class. So was really good. Then playing in that team, the picture that you see, right? That's a nice picture.
Yeah, you'll recognize a lot of guys. The guys that you have already mentioned. I see Rojano, and there's who else is in this picture that we
over
recognize?
there? Then people
Right.
people from my CSL's era is Alejandro Moreno. El Cebollas is over there, where is the sidekick sticker. Then beside him is El Meque, he played for Washington. Then is Rodolfo de las Fuentes, he played for the La Raza in Monterrey. Juan de la O, he played for the Seattle Seahawks. Then Borgi, Octavio Perez for La Raza. Then Lalo, I believe he played for La Raza. Then we have another two, they don't play here. On the bottom, in my right-hand side, is El Cava. He played for Dallas Sidekicks a lot of years. Guillermo Rangel, I believe he was in La Raza. Rojano, then me. Panchito Cerón, he played for Toros Mexico. And then the other two guys that play for Tlaxcala, and that's it. So we have a really good squad.
And now you're transitioned again into coaching. So you coach the next generation through your youth club, Progressive Soccer Ozzy. What is your philosophy on how to coach young players in 2025 so that they can be successful in the future?
For me, about soccer related, I believe teach the skills of the game. For me, that's fundamental. That is the base to be able to keep moving forward in your career and playing the high level. If the kid at an early age is not able to get good fundamentals, good skills, then it's going to be difficult to him to keep moving forward. He can be in the later days one of the stronger kids and the fastest kids, but if he's not able to control the ball one touch, play the ball 2 touches, then it's going to be hard for him. Also, about the tactical part of the game is to teach the right way to play. Sometimes with that, you run in the situation that you lose games because you are pushing the kid to do something that is the right thing to do, like build up, right? To play the game or play the ball from the back. So sometimes the execution in early age is not the best one because they're learning. So they make mistakes, and that mistake causes a goal. So parents get a little panic, like, oh, they're doing this, they're doing that. But if people trust the process and believe in what we're doing, then the results they come in. They can see how the kids start getting more confidence, how they handle the ball, how understand better the game. Because at the end of the day, again, if we don't teach this kind of situation in the early age, then later it's going to be too late. So for us, that's our main philosophy. Now, um, outside the field, also we try to be really emphasis in all the values that the game teaches, right? So right now we were talking about me being in Indianapolis. Is the work ethic to be there to hold, to finish your commitment, uh, to be support of your teammate, to be positive, to don't quit. So all that kind of values we try to reinforce to the new generations, because at the end of the day, what I ask to my coaches is, in our program we have around 150, 160 kids, right? So for those kids, how many kids they're going to play professional? So hopefully, I'm gonna be really excited. Two, right? Three. I don't know. It's tough. So actually, our job as a coaches is to teach beyond soccer. How this experience to be with us is gonna help them to be a better human being. So that's what we try to push in organization, and I believe we are creating success. And we keep looking forward, keep moving forward with the kids getting better every day on and off the field.
You also coach high school, and that's a level that people have divided opinions on. Do you think high school soccer has a place in developing players, or is it important for socialization and school pride and things like that? What do you see as high school soccer's pluses and minuses as relates to developing players in the United States?
In my opinion, I coach in again high school. My son is in the team, so I coach in high school again. My wife is asking me to coach, so I coach in my high school team, San Marino. But I believe it's nothing like for the kid experience to defend their school, that they go for it, and that community, that chemistry that the kids can create, and also create those memories. I believe that's a really important part of the equation. Now, to develop players, soccer players in the high school, I believe is not time. I believe in my experience, the season is like 3 months, 4 months. All the players come from, some of them that come from club. So it just put a squad together and try to get the best of them to compete. The level of competition for me is not the best. It's a lot of speed. It's really intense. It's sometimes not pretty to watch. So it's difficult. Nowadays, I believe if you play for MLS team or something like that, MLS Pro or whatever, they are not allow you to play high school soccer. So again, I believe every case will be different for the kids depending on what they want. I believe at the end of the day is the decision belongs to the player, to the kid, to the youth. If they're happy playing with the schoolmates and have fun and create memories, and they are not taking too much seriously to go to pro and stuff, then they can make their own decision. Sometimes we as a parents, we try to live under the shoes of the kids, and we try to make the decision for them and forcing them. So when you are in that age, it's like, okay, what do you want? At the end of the day, whatever make you happy, right, is go for it, whatever move you.
Well, you can see by the comments that we've had so far and the fact that we have an all-time record for people watching this live stream. So you must be very, very popular, my friend. We appreciate that. So we've come now to the part of the show where we ask each of our guests to tell us one crazy story from their careers. Everybody who plays this game long enough has a crazy story. I will now open the floor to you, and you tell us your one crazy story.
Okay, this one, even I see the picture that you have over there, and when I mentioned about this, is what the people does. Is I mentioned before when I was playing for Tlaxcala, always at home, my parents told me that play soccer was a privilege. That is nothing for sure in soccer. My dad always told me, okay, you're gonna play pro. What about you play pro? In the first play, you broke your leg, and then it's no more. It's nothing backing you up to get success in life. So you need to be good in school. Good in school, you cannot leave the school, otherwise you don't play soccer. So I was playing for Tlaxcala, and Tlaxcala was like 2 hours and a half driving from my home. So believe it or not, I was driving every day 2 hours and a half, and driving back 2 hours and a half, and then go to the school from 4 to 10 every day, right? That's not the more crazy stuff. Problems is when we were in Tlaxcala, also the club in that time has problem financially. So something similar happened than with the Twister when the Federation Mexican League Federation take over from Tlaxcala, and then they sold Tlaxcala franchise to Veracruz, to Papantla. So that is like 6 hours away from Mexico City. So I was like, what I gonna do? I have a contract with this team that I need to keep moving forward. And then I have my school that I need to go every day, right? So what I did is try to be in the middle. Thanks God, I was the captain of that team. So I was good relations with the players and with the coach and everything. So even sounds crazy. I talked to the coach and said, look, this is my situation and I can leave the school because of this. I right in the middle of my process. So he said, okay, you figure it out the school. Let's see, they can give you 2 days off. So I went to the school that was already the college in that time. So I talked to my professor and say, look, I have in this situation. They know I was playing professional in that time. So I say, look, I have this situation. Will be okay for you if I come Monday, Tuesday, and then I go Wednesday to Papantla and practice with the team Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then play on the weekends. And we play in Papantla. Then when I drove back to go back to the school, and then if we play away, maybe Guadalajara, Acapulco, wherever, then I come back, same thing. So I ask you only to please do the test and my presentation through these days. And if I don't receive the qualification or the grade, the good grade at the end, that's okay. I understand. But could you help me out with that? And they say yes. Both sides, they say yes. So my life was going to Veracruz 6 hours, practice there, then travel with the team, then sometimes drop in Mexico City, going to school. Was a crazy time. But again, I go to what we mentioned before is the love of the game, what move you. So that's my crazy story. And sometimes when I talk to the people, like, really, you are crazy.
Well, and that was when you earned a master's degree doing that, right?
Yes, exactly. I was in Indianapolis doing my master degree, writing my master degree and everything. What I have to get a year extension because it was a thesis. We call it thesis in Mexico. I make a book and everything. And you ask me about what? About soccer, about how I'm a marketing degree. So my book is about how you can do a marketing first division team in Mexico.
Wow, very cool. So I'll get you out of here on this as we see more of the things that people who are obviously affiliated with your club or have experience with you as a coach sing your praises. So it's been great to have you. I do want to ask you this. So this one question. So we're almost 30 years on now. What sticks with you? What sticks with you about playing for this team? The lasting memory of being on the team that you see right here.
I believe I'm gonna repetitive again, but I believe it's the work ethic. Now passing the years and see the way that we work, the way that we were stick with the program, with Coach Jorge philosophy. That's a really tough thing to do. I mean, they stay all together and nobody quit and nobody say nothing. And maybe the complaints they were inside, we talk here, but we stay together as a team. And even under all the circumstances about not winning at the beginning and about changing ownership and the league and everything, nobody quit. Everybody stay intact. Everybody giving the best in the games. Everybody support each other. So I believe was a good learning experience. And again, in my part as a human being, that's what I take care. Of course, my friendships with a bunch of guys, and they're in the pictures. Mate Kosul is around also here in. I don't know if he was in Arizona. I believe now
Yeah, I
he's
think he still lives here. Hopefully,
in Arizona. Sometimes he came to town
right.
because it's a team called San Pedro Croat that I play for. He know the guy, so Mate Kosul, a good friend, and of course the Mexican guys. Rich, I have a big contact with Rich Ryerson. Looking forward to know now about Monty Reef and all the people.
And if our English-speaking audience will bear with us for just a moment, this is for our international audience. Same question, same answer, but in my not-so-great Spanish. 30 años después, ¿cuál es tu mayor recuerdo jugando en este equipo, los Twisters.
Muy buen español, Ken. Te felicito, muy buen español. El recuerdo más grande que tengo de este equipo y memorias es el trabajo que hicimos, toda la ética profesional que tuvimos de mantenernos ante un programa, una filosofía muy estricta del profesor en cuestión al trabajo duro, en cuestión a la alimentación. Tuvimos problemas con la directiva, cambios de dueño, y el equipo se mantuvo intacto, se mantuvo competitivo, se mantuvo fuerte y siempre pues dando lo mejor de cada uno para seguir adelante. Y de hecho pues las victorias que tuvimos el último partido contra la Raza de Monterrey pues es una prueba muy grande de eso.
Wonderful.
I did mention in Spanish about the last game,
right?
the last game of the season that we beat Monterrey. That's a proof.
Yeah.
That we were not goofing around. We were there to play and to compete. And La Raza was like really upset.
Well, Terry Rowe and Terry, who's in that picture, Terry was hurt. You can see him on crutches in this picture, but he and I were out at a restaurant, and they were showing scores and the score came across, and we both looked at each other like they won in Monterey. We couldn't believe it. It was just a great way to go out, and obviously, things were very different the second year, but really appreciate your insight and for joining us and being a guest on the show. You've been fantastic. Thanks to all of you who have watched and who have written in. Oswaldo Monroy, thanks so much for being with us. Gracias, amigo. Ten cuidado allá.
No, thank you very much for everyone. Thank you everyone to was able to watch us, for the comments. I really appreciate, and I'm here for whatever you need, Ken, and I'm ready. Put me in the list for Vegas. I'm close by.
That's what I thought. All right. More on that. More to come on that. All right. I go. The Twisters played 59 games in their history, including the minigame of the playoffs. 50 of those games were broadcast on the radio on WMYS. 39 of those broadcasts have survived in whole or in part, and they are now all available on my website. Just go to ken.com and click on audio at the top there. Give it a minute to load them all. If you're listening on Mixcloud right now, they are there as well. They're on the celebrated Mr. K page. A handful of games were on television as well. I've just uncovered a couple more of those. I have almost all of them, I believe, but if you have any Twister games on VHS or DVD, please let me know. And I am happy to reveal that our next guest on this show will be Monty Reeves, who we talked about on this show. He played for the Twisters in '96. He's a fascinating guy, super smart guy with a great personal story. He will join us on Tuesday, September 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern, live, as we do this all the time. And we do it live because I really don't want to edit it, folks. All right. Until then, be cool, stay safe, keep twisting. Talk to y'all next time.